Yeah. I don't know. I know she's hot enough to kill for.
Holy... Oh, you're a fucking ass. Didn't you see the Jinx 2, that documentary Patton made on HBO?
I'm mad about that.
You're an asshole. So, hey guys. Welcome to episode 21. We're on episode 21.
All right, our podcast is old enough to have a beer and buy cigarettes and a gun in Florida. It's great.
In 5 weeks, we will be doing this for half a year. 6 months.
Really? God, it feels so much longer than that.
You're not wrong.
I can't wait till the season finale when John has a massive stroke on camera, and then when next season, like, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be all right? We're fight out in season 2.
It's okay. No one's watching anyways.
Hey, Doug, I don't know if your blinds are open or anything, but you're
really bright.
I know.
You're like a ghost.
The blinds are closed. I'm using my old webcam, and it's already got like a shitty brightness to it that I can't control, and the sun keeps going in and out, so it's just... It is what it is. Like John said, nobody fucking watches the show anyway, so...
You look like you're a part of the Aryan Brotherhood. That's how white you look right now.
No, he looks like the movie Powder.
You know what? Neither of you fucking tread on me, alright?
I didn't know that Doug was albino. That's weird. I mean, I'm not judging someone's skin.
So now Doug's libertarian. Loses the weight, starts looking good.
Hey, John, what are you doing November 21st?
November 21st?
Yeah.
Buddy, I don't think that far ahead, okay? I just take it one day at a time, alright?
Alright, well, I think me and you are going to go to Orlando.
For who? Who's going?
Ministry and Helmet.
November?
Yeah.
I was supposed to...
The chances of seeing Ministry live again after this are very slim.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan, though.
I'm not a huge fan, but I do like Helmet.
I like Helmet. Close to see Helmet live.
I was supposed to see Helmet last September with Faith No More.
Oh, that would be a show that I'd fucking jump at the bit to this.
I bought tickets a year in advance. I was so excited. It was going to be in Chicago, and my buddy Taylor and I were going to go.
Where?
I forget what part of Chicago off the top of my head, man. Because it got canceled like 2 months after I bought the tickets. When COVID hit, they canceled the event and refunded everything. I don't know. It was near a place. It was near a place that we wanted to go eat at called Chicago Pizza Pub and something, where they made pizza in a bowl. Like they put the cheese at the bottom and then you turn it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was near there.
I know what you're talking about.
Strange.
Maybe at the Aragon Ballroom?
Could have been. I'll have to go back and look at my receipts and shit like that in the email. But I was really excited because I never thought in a million years I'd get to see Faith No More perform live. And that like it was gonna be them, Korn, and Helmet, and I'm like, Korn I could give a shit less about. They've got a handful of songs I like, but Helmet would have been cool. But Faith No More was.
I don't. Yeah, not a fan of Korn by any means necessary, but if they were playing like a festival or they were on a bill, I'd definitely go check them out live. I heard that their live production is pretty fucking intense.
Right on.
So,
they do a good live show. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch them live, but they just did I watched a documentary where they did a full-blown gig on top of some building in LA to no fans to do a live stream. Mm-hmm. And they're the only band I know that has done like a full-on production for a live stream.
The Dropkick Murphys played fucking Fenway for a live stream, and they had like drone cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah, this thing had fucking cranes circling like LA over Sunset Boulevard. I mean, they went all out.
I've never been a fan of shit like that. Like the Coheed show we saw live you were talking about at Hard Rock. Was it Hard Rock? Yeah, Hard Rock in New York.
Hard Rock.
That I thought was one of the worst experiences of my life, having to be at like a produced show, like where there's multiple takes and all right guys, act excited, and cameras are sweeping over. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, this wasn't like that though. This was literally just a live stream of them playing. There was no cuts, there was no edits. It was
I'll be
Here
honest.
you go.
I zoned out at the beginning of that story, so my bad.
It's the hat.
So what were they recording that COVID show? Were they doing a live album, DVD? What were they doing?
It was remember when Nokia the Hard Rock Live?
They used
it
to
was
do-
something that they would air it on MTV.
They'd record like an hour's worth of material and cut it into 30 minutes, and they did bands from that. It would be Nokia Live Presents or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And we were gonna go see them. Like we had the tickets to go see them, and then we realized I don't remember if we realized going into it that it was going to be a recorded show for MTV, and they did like a live acoustic set before the recording part, which was not bad actually because it wasn't produced at all. It was just them playing acoustic.
And they did not include any of that on the TV show. I mean, the acoustic set was 45 minutes.
And it was phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they did a 45-minute acoustic set, and then they did a complete live show, like where they play for like an hour and a half.
Yep.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
there was like 40 minutes to an hour before they actually got to play like that, where it was like them they had cranes sweeping across the audience, doing takes, producers coming out on stage with badges, directing us to look more excited and sing along with these lyrics and fucking stupid shit, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that sounds like a horrible fucking concert.
It was very odd. Like, I remember me and Doug were under the crane, and under one crane shot, I knocked him over, hoping it would get on get on TV. But that shot didn't make it on the air.
Oh man, you know what I love about this time of year? Fucking weather's getting nice, man. Get my side by side out. We're gonna go mudding, guys. Y'all gonna go mudding with us?
Absolutely. You own a 4-wheeler?
I do have a 4-wheeler.
It's awesome. I'll come up there and go 4-wheeling with you.
Oh, it's so much fun.
And I've got extra ETVs.
And we've got a little sled trailer that we can pull Bob in. It's for little kids. It's for little kids, but it'll look cute.
Put a little table and chair on there, a little tea set. Fucking just put Bob on the back of it. Just go like 2 miles per hour down the trails.
Tawny Katane died like Friday, I think. Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
That's sad, actually.
She was young, too.
59. Yeah, she was not old.
When anybody dies that I climax to, it's always sad.
It always makes it better, doesn't it? Knowing that they're dead now.
Oh, I don't feel so sad anymore. A little creepy, but not so sad.
You guys.
So,
This is the not safe for work show, man.
So I picked the movie this week that I wanted everybody to check out because it was something that I never heard of before, and Netflix just recommended it to me, and I watched it, and I rather enjoyed the film, and that was the film Mississippi Grind, starring Ryan Reynolds and whoever the fuck that actor's name is, who I can never remember, but I love him.
Ben Mendelsohn.
What is that?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn, thank you.
Woodford, over here.
So what did you guys think of the movie?
Are we talking on a star scale, or I can tell you, like...
Yeah, do out of 5 stars. What do you rate out of 5 stars?
Give it a 3.
Give it a 3? Okay. That's
I
fair.
give it a 3.
Paul, what do you give it?
Hard 3.5, soft 4.
Doug?
Mine's identical to Paul's. I really 3.5. Borderline
Yeah,
4.
I'm gonna go with Bob. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 3 stars. I don't know if I'd go 3.5, 4 stars. It was good. I enjoyed it, but did anybody find the fucking relationship between the two main characters a little questionable? I don't know how to put this delicately without
I feel
coming
that...
right out and say it.
Why? It's not like you've never said it before on the podcast. I bleep it out.
I feel like Ben Mendelsohn?
Yep.
I feel like his character definitely...
Took a dick for a gambling to pay off a gambling debt.
No, would literally do anything just to be around Ryan Reynolds, is the way it came off to me.
Are you saying the character or the actual actor in real life?
The character. I felt like the character, his entire motivation was he wanted to be around him and around whatever action that came with him.
Well, he found him intoxicating, and I'll be honest, I found Ryan Reynolds intoxicating until you figure out, like, you know, who he is, what he does, you know.
Yeah, watching it, I definitely got a little small homoerotic underlying vibe to these two characters. I was just wondering if anyone else caught that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just saying I kind of got this vibe when I was watching it. Like, I don't know. I mean, Ryan Reynolds, his girlfriend's a fucking professional prostitute, and he's on the road a lot. He meets this fucking loser, degenerate gambler. Then all of a sudden they're like attached at the hip.
But I mean, it also mentions that he's not the first guy that he picks up, and so the way I took the whole story is Ryan Reynolds goes around, finds these losers, backs them, and then eventually takes all their money.
Do you know, when you put it like that, Bob, it's not far off from what Liberace did to all his boy toys, based on the movie I saw with Michael Douglas and Matt Damon. Just
What
interesting.
movie?
So,
Beyond the Candelabra.
Never saw it.
Oh my God!
I heard it was good. I haven't seen it yet.
So just to touch on, John, your question of homoeroticy and that, the way I interpret it was, have you ever had an experience in your life where you met a guy friend, and not saying a sexual attraction, but as soon as you meet them, you're just enamored by their personality and their charisma? That's how I took it.
Absolutely. I'll name him too. Skylar Joseph Dennison, one of my best friends. Me and Skylar would get really drunk back in the day, and like, you know, we were so close back in the day that we even admitted, like, if either one of us had a vagina, like, we'd be married because there was just such a strong bond between us.
I know Doug felt that way very strongly about me.
I still do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a strong bond between all of you guys.
I feel
Nothing
the same way.
sexual about it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe because it was just Ryan Reynolds and he's so fucking pretty. I couldn't get over that in the movie. And like
thought he was pretty in the
halfway through, I just had to take off my pants and just, you know.
Yeah, the relationship immediately made me think of two relationships I had in the military. A buddy named Rob.
With the Navy.
Buddy named John.
You can find yourself a man.
And I think it was just because of, like, how I met them, where I was in life when I met them, and all three of us know each other really well, and we're all pretty good friends. I haven't talked to them in a while, but they just called me last week. Ooh, it was really random. But like Rob, I met when I graduated from my tech school in the military. I just married my wife, and I was going overseas, and me and him found out we were going to the same base together after we got orders. And we didn't know each other, but he was always like the good-looking dude who was like the playboy. So he was a pussy hound back in the day. He's getting married to a hot-ass Brazilian model now. But that's kind of what it reminded me of, was just a strong bromance right away. And actually, I think what my big takeaway from the movie, and me and Doug talked about this on the phone, is it really brought me back to when I was stationed in Washington, and I was in charge of 87 people. Like, I was intel, but when I came back from deployment, I was in charge of what was called the deck and tile team, and I had to get 87 people from random places all around the ship, and I was in charge of replacing the tile, and these were my crew. And I was telling Doug this story. I had one kid who worked for me who was like 19, 20, and he came up to me 2 days after payday, and he's like, "Petty Officer Burke, I need your help. I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "What's the matter?" He's like, "I'm broke," and he just had a newborn baby. He's like, "I'm broke, and I don't know how to feed my kid." I'm like, "We just got paid." He's like, "I went straight to the casino, and I gambled all away." And like, me and Doug were talking, there was bits of that movie where it brought me back to remembering that kid who was that addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
When they were betting shit like, will the next guy out of the bathroom be wearing glasses? Like that kid was like.
And there are people like that that are gambling addicts where they just literally need and want to bet on everything because, you know, it gets their serotonin going and fucking it's a drug to them, the excitement of winning like that. I mean,
There's somebody on this podcast where I've watched that happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm a gambling addict. I actually consider myself a very smart gambler.
Back in the day,
back in the day when I was young, like, of course I was virgin. I was a fucking kid.
I remember so clearly we busted you out, and you said, "All right, let me buy back in." So we let you buy back in, and we busted you out, and then Lynn was there, and you're like, "Lynn, can I borrow $25?" And she's like, "All right." You busted out again. She's like, and you said, "Someone take me up to the ATM." We're like, "No, dude, you're into your rip money at this point. You're done." And you're like, "Okay, fine. And I remember you getting so mad, like, "John, I promise you this is for your own good tonight. This is not your night." I just remember you kept getting bad beat after bad beat.
Yeah, there's definitely a time to walk away from the table. And, you know, it took me a long time gambling to find that out. And I had to learn the hard way. I've done it at the fucking casino before, where I fucking blown through money that I shouldn't have fucking blown through trying to get back up to what I lost. But now I'm at the point where I look at gambling strictly as it's kind of meant to be, which is entertainment. So if I call you up, Bob, and I say, "Hey, I want to go fucking roll dice in Immokalee," I have a safe in my room with an envelope in it, and the envelope says gambling.
Right.
Right now it's about $800, and this isn't a part of my bills. This is my fun, gamble money. So if I take $500, and that's going to be my limit for the night, I will take that $500, and the moment I walk into the casino, I tell myself, "John, you are going to lose $500 over the next hour, and you're going to have some fucking beers, and you're going to have some excitement, and some ups and some downs, and it's going to be very entertaining." And then, and that's that. I don't ever walk in a casino going like, "I'm going to fucking kill it, blah, 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 blah." Although I have been on a good streak lately where I have actually been profiting $300, $400, $500 every time I've gone playing craps. Which is cool, and that's definitely a lot better than losing money. Right. But the fact is that I treat gambling like I am taking this money and I am paying for entertainment. So I paid for a really expensive fucking movie, show, sporting event, something like that, because it's something I enjoy, it's something I find extreme entertainment of. And if the money is gone, the money is gone. If I'm doing well, I'm doing well, and I'm having fun winning, and I'm having fun losing. I can have fun losing $500 very, very easily, because that's part of the excitement. It's part of the whole fucking experience of it. Now, back when I was a young kid, and I was living on my own, and I was working at the mall, and I was playing cards with you guys, I barely made enough money to keep a fucking roof over my head and feed me to begin with. So any amount of money that I brought to a poker game was a goddamn fucking risk. If I lost $50 or $60, that was my fucking grocery money for that fucking week. But now I'm older, I work very long days, I'm not wealthy or rich, I'm one or two paychecks away from fucking being homeless like everybody else, I think. But I mean, it's something I enjoy doing, and it's not like it's a regular thing. I mean, I try to play cards once a week, but the most I'll ever spend at my card game if I'm having a bad night, it's like, $120, $150, which is affordable to me with my finances and my work and shit like that.
When I was in college is when I truly loved to go gambling. And I would never say I was addicted, but it was always a group event with the friends. Like, let's go to the card room and grind out till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and just see what we walk away with. And I have a very addictive personality, like nicotine. I'll probably be on nicotine products till the day I die. I was a slave model at one time in my life.
You were what?
Luckily, I never got serious into hardcore drugs.
I didn't hear that. You were a slave what?
slave to the bottle for a period.
Oh.
Oh, gotcha.
Definitely.
I thought you said I was a slave hand model. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I used to put chains on, and they
Like, wow, how is that paid,
They
dude?
put cocoa powder on my hands, put some handcuffs on me, and I just put it under the camera.
Like David Duchovny and fucking Zoolander.
Exactly.
I know that hand. You're Jamie Pruitt.
But,
So this year is 1993 catalog.
You freaking idiot.
out of all the addictions, like I have and I've seen in other people, gambling was the one I never understood. Serious gambling addiction. I've never comprehended it. Like I could see somebody strung out on heroin and say, I understand how that happens. I understand that wanting the desire to feel that euphoric feeling all the fucking time. People who literally get a paycheck, spend it all, eventually it takes over their life, they lose their job, then they start robbing. I'll never understand that aspect of a gambling addiction. I feel bad for anybody who has it, though.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was actually talking about this on one of the episodes I listened to this past week, and Joe Rogan said the exact same thing. He's like, out of all people's addictions, like, I get it, but it seems like gambling would be, like, the easiest one just not to do. Just don't fucking do it. Just don't gamble. They're like... And I was like, oh, well, people compulsive fucking...
It's not that easy for some people.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
I'm not judging. I feel bad for anybody who has it.
No, I totally understand. But I mean, I've got lots of friends who have very addictive personalities, and I've told Doug about all the different stories I've seen in the last week in my job. Did I tell you about geriatric Gina?
What?
So I picked up this lady the other night. She called herself Geriatric Gina.
Oh, Jesus.
Was that the name on the app that came up?
No, it was just Gina. When she got in the car, she referred to herself as Geriatric Gina. And I was blasting Rage Against the Machine when she got in. And she's like, cool, can we listen to some Pantera? And she's in her 50s.
Fucking awesome.
And so I hit random on Spotify. She's like, oh, cool, Primal Concrete Sludge. She's like, for the record, I'm on a lot of crack cocaine. She's like, but this is as high as I've ever got, as I ever get. She's like, I've been routinely, daily, doing crack for 35 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's impressive.
And you did invite her onto the podcast as a guest?
Dude, she freaked me out.
Oh,
I bet.
She said she hopes to still be smoking it when she's 75. That is her plan.
Hey, at least she knows what she wants in life.
I mean, look, I've said it once and I've said it 1,000 times, man. If you could fucking handle your high, I don't think there's anything wrong with any drug, including crack, cocaine, heroin, oxy, meth, whatever. If you can handle your high and it doesn't fucking ruin your life and doesn't affect your family, friends, people around you in a negative aspect, then go fucking nuts. Enjoy yourself. You only get a limited fucking time here on Earth. And I party with plenty of fucking weekend warriors, guys who get their paycheck, grab an 8-ball or two, fucking stay awake the entire weekend, drinking, partying, freebies and coke, doing lines, and then Sunday night they go home, they go to bed, Monday they wake up, they don't do shit all week except for work, and then Friday they go nuts. I knew people like this, and I would look at them and be like, I am so fucking jealous of you guys, because when you're going to sleep Sunday, I'm still fucking doughy, and I can't fucking stop until something, an outside source, physically stops me from doing it. Yeah, so I'm like, that's why I can't do any drug.
And we were talking about all this, and it came up because I had mentioned, I could tell she was fucked up.
Bob, can you hold that thought for 1 second? I gotta grab something to drink. Give me 1 sec. Hold that thought, because I really want to hear this.
Yeah, grab me a drink, too.
Alright, will do.
New stains.
Yeah, different spot.
New stains, different spot.
I would like to say I am very thankful that we all survived the great Chinese rocket landing of 2021.
What happened?
I didn't hear about it.
China. They talked about it on SNL. Did anybody watch this week's SNL?
I watched
that was
the
working.
monologue.
China sent a rocket up a couple of weeks ago. They're doing their own International Space Station, and this was the rocket that sent it up. Well, unbeknownst to them, the way rockets are supposed to work is they're not supposed to go into orbit. They're supposed to break off and detach and fall back into the ocean before that happens. This one went into orbit. So once it went into orbit, China was like
Like long darts.
Yeah.
we think it might we think it might come down in the next week. So everybody in the community was tracking it. Nobody knew where it was going to land, and it was either going to land like in our neck of the woods, like from me and Doug to New York, then cross over right below England, down through Africa, Indian Ocean, towards Australia. That was the orbital path. And then during Saturday Night Live on Saturdays when it crashed in the Indian Ocean.
Fucking terrifying.
That's pretty
You're just
scary.
like, just getting up for work one day, getting in your car, go to your office job, you're sitting in your fucking office, bang, a fucking rocket just falls out of the fucking sky and kills you.
Brought to you by the Communist Republic of China.
I guess it would be a quick death. I mean,
Anyways, go back to your story about geriatric Gina or whatever.
geriatric Gina. So
Gina.
I had mentioned to her about what I had called you about the night before. Was that guy?
Yeah, can we talk about that? Let's take it a step further even back from this, because I got a very interesting phone call from you the other night.
So
You want to share the story?
yeah. So I get a ride, and I go to pick this dude up at it's called a hospital. It's not a hospital. It's a rehab. I got a call from a woman. She said, "You're picking up my neighbor. They don't have any beds," and he was very agitated and just very upset. And he's yelling at the orderly, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work, lady. He seems really pissed off, and I'm not gonna deal with this shit if that's the case. She's like, well, it should be fine. So
Who are you picking up at?
it was someplace over down by Health Park.
By Health Park. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
So he
Right
comes
there behind the Applebee's or
Right.
maybe Tuesday, whatever it is.
Yep,
That was the
right
first.
in there.
That was the first place that I went to try to get into, and they told me that they were a tobacco-free facility, and I went get fucked, and I walked out the door.
So he couldn't get in. He couldn't get in. So I'm driving him home, and he's telling me what's going on. And he's like, I'm sorry I had to go back in. He's like, I lied to the guy about losing my sunglasses in the bathroom. He's like, I was getting sick to my stomach, and I didn't want to lose it in your car. And he's like, I'm dope sick. And I'm like, okay. All right. So this adds a new wrinkle to this ride. So we're talking about it, and he's like, they fought with me for 2 hours to get me to come. I finally broke down and said, okay, I want to get clean. There's no beds for me here. And I'm like,
Florida, I'm sorry to interrupt you really quick, but for those of you who don't know, and I don't know how the laws and regulations are in Michigan, but let's say you live in the state of New York. If you live in the state of New York and you're a fucking drug addict, the state of New York will pay for you to go to rehab, medication, everything to get you well. Florida is not one of those places, and it's actually rather challenging and a fucking process to actually get yourself into rehab down here. So imagine you're a fucking drug addict, that people do an intervention on you, and you finally break down, you finally hit your bottom, and you're like, you know what, okay, I'll go to rehab. And then all of a sudden, you have another hurdle to fucking climb just getting into a fucking place. Most people are going to be like, fuck this, where's my needle? Or where's my pipe?
right.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous, and something really needs to fucking change down here
So
as far as that goes. Go on,
Well,
sorry to interrupt.
I just want to say this while I'm thinking about it, and this is not me like trying to make a point of contention. This is me just stating a fact between the difference of the two worlds. The reason is because New York has the highest state income tax out of anybody because they have to fund all those social programs. Florida doesn't charge you guys any income tax, so where would the funding for something like that come from? Florida.
From all the fucking tourists that come down here and spend billions of dollars every year. That's our economy. That's money, Paul. If we have, once again, Paul, how much does a Tomahawk cruise missile cost us? What do we pay for it?
not disagreeing with you, but we're talking state level right now. That's
Yeah,
the reason I brought that up.
But still, okay, there's probably shit that we overspend as a state anyways. Alright, I get what you're saying there. Alright, Bob, go on with your story.
So I've got him in the car, and at this point, he's like, I guess I'll just fucking go home and try to come back tomorrow. And I'm thinking, that's not going to work. This dude's going to go home and immediately just start taking more Suboxone. And I'm like, alright.
Let me stop you there, because he's on Suboxone at this point.
Yes.
Okay, before you continue, Suboxone won't kill him. You can't really overdose from Suboxone that I know of.
He wanted to get off of it. He didn't get on Suboxone to get off of anything. He got on to Suboxone.
He got addicted to Suboxone.
Yeah, as a recreational thing.
I got you.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. He's got withdrawals. He's trying not to shit his pants. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let me call some people. I called and left a message for John. I'm like, okay, I know John's been down this road. John doesn't answer. I'm like, okay. And I told him the story about me and John that morning. And he's like, I'm honestly okay with you driving me out to the middle of nowhere and beating my ass and leaving me there. I'm like, I don't think that'll help you. So John calls back, and he gives me the name of two places. I have the guy call one place.
Alice Care and the Willow.
Yeah, so he calls the Willow, I call Salus Care. Willow doesn't even answer their phone. We can't answer your phone right now.
The middle of the night, yeah. I mean, what time is all this going down?
This is right around 1 a.m.
He's fucked.
Yeah.
I don't think any administration office is open at this point.
So I call Salus Care, and the lady's like, what's going on? I explained it to her. Because at that point, he's in the Circle K getting a Mike's Hard Lemonade to try to stop his shaking from detoxing.
And that
absolutely.
Yeah, and she's like, what's he on? And I told her, and she's like, and he wants to get clean? I'm like, correct. She's like, well, so she calls their other office where that's handled. They're not answering. She's like, the best thing you can do is take him to the ER. So he gets back in the car, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm taking you to the ER. He's like, why? I'm like, it's your only option. That's the only thing I can do for you. So I take him to the ER, and I'm like, you just be quiet, and I'll do the talking when we get there. And I walk him into the ER, and the nurse at the door is like, what's going on? I'm like, this guy's detoxing, and he needs a place to be. And he's like, what's he detoxing from? I told him, and they're like, all right, we'll take it from here. And I left him there, and that was that. Yeah. And it was a strange night. And after that, I was pretty much emotionally wiped and just went home. Because, I'd spent like an hour trying to find this guy a place to go. And, he really seemed to want to get clean, at least for that night.
Yep.
So, but I know many friends who have wanted to get clean that night, and, that night passed, and, So.
I relapsed fucking hard when I got out of rehab. I went through my 30 days in rehab with fucking gold stars, 100% fucking success rate, voted most likely to fucking succeed. Nobody that I was in rehab with, they were like, John, you got this, man. You're going to do great as soon as you get out. Nobody here is worried about you. No one here expects to ever see you again, except at a meeting, just work the program, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I got this. And then 3 weeks out of rehab, fucking sitting there one night, and I'm like, I want to smoke some crack. So I smoked it, and then I was like, I want some heroin. So I got heroin. And then fast forward 2-3 months after that, full-blown addiction, lost literally everything in my life. Lost my home, lost all my possessions. I didn't have a cent to my fucking name. Getting kicked out of my house, and I know it's like the last day that I have there before I'm on the street. I'm going through my fucking phone, and I'm like, alright, well, there's some people I gotta say goodbye to, because I was getting ready just to fucking kill myself. Like, there was just no other. I didn't see any other options. Anything. Most people had turned their backs on me. Nobody was going to help me, and everyone kind of was just like, John's got to find his own way now, which I get and I understand, because I burned almost every bridge with everybody that I knew and that cared about me. So I thought that, my end game, the only thing I can say is just like, well, I'm just going to fucking kill myself, because I saw that as the only viable option. So I'm fucking sitting there, fucking Matthew Lawrence. When I moved from Chicago to Fort Myers when I was like 9 or 10 years old, my first day at the school bus, I met Matthew Lawrence. We've been friends ever since. So I just sent him a text message being like, Matt, I just want to let you know that I love you, and I am so fucking proud of the man that you've become and what you're doing with your art and tattooing. And I just want you to know that I love you, and I'm very proud of you. And I sent the text. About 30 seconds later, Matt calls me, and he's like, are you okay? And I go, no, Matt, I'm not. He's like, where are you? What are you doing? And Matt came and picked me up, and ultimately fucking saved my life that day.
That's awesome. I'm glad Matt was there.
Because he read that text message, and he knows me, and he knew immediately that something is not right about this text. This text is way too heavy and way too deep. Something's really going on with John. And, that was that.
I'm glad it played out the way it did. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too, man. I'll forever be in debt to that dude. That dude fucking single-handedly is the reason why I'm here talking to you guys right now. Because I was 100% ready. I had the note written out to my family and everything, and there was just a couple more people that I wanted to say goodbye to that day. And I was getting all my ducks in order, and I was going to take my life. I was going to swim out into the goddamn Gulf of Mexico, get a few yards out, and just inhale some water and let my body either float out to sea or wash up on the beach. And I would never be heard from again, or they'd find my body, one of the two.
Bob, out of curiosity, I know you said you got the initial call from the neighbor of the guy, right?
Hmm.
Is that the one who flipped the bill for everything that happened?
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah, she paid for the ride. I was texting her back and forth the entire time, letting her know what was going on, and yeah.
Did she appreciate everything you did? Because you you went above and beyond the call of an Uber or Lyft driver.
You really did, Bob, and I'm so fucking proud of you. And hearing that story it reminds me of why you're one of my best friends and why you're my brother. You really are a kind soul with a big giant heart, even though you don't project that at all to most people. And I know you don't like people knowing that about you, but you really are one of the sweetest, kindest, and most thoughtful people that I know. And that story is fucking amazing.
I think it's a fantastic story, and I think you did a great job. And just to kind of like go back to the topic of policies and that, and I mean, because obviously I care about politics quite a bit, and I care about this sort of stuff, and I think heavily, especially when it comes to this, because Doug's my best friend in the world, and I know the struggles Doug went through. Yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
And I know the struggles you went through with addiction. So I mean, everybody in this country has some kind of personal connection to addiction. And talking about what we were talking about, John, and you made the differences of New York and Florida. If Paul was the governor, Paul was the president, Libertarian Paul, here's what I would like to see. If I actually got to do something and actually make a change. I believe every single narcotic should be legalized. Right away. Legalize it all, decriminalize narcotics. Second thing is, as Doug now knows, because we live in a legal state from weed, tax the shit out of it. But the sales tax you put on illegal narcotics, here's how it get divvied up. 75% goes to funding state rehab facilities, and 75% of your narcotics tax should be able to fund it. So that way, the people who are using inevitably are the ones who are paying for rehab and stuff like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then 25% of the tax is then invested into the public education system to try to stop people before they start using in education. if libertarian Paul ran the world, those were the policies I'd put into place.
I agree 100% with you, Paul. 110%. I agree with you, brother.
So, fast forwarding to 2 nights after that.
Yeah, so first you got fucking dope sick fucking McGee in the back of your goddamn car. You can't find a rehab place since 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. And now you dealt with that. I know that fucking put strain on you, fucking emotionally and fucking. So now 2 nights later, you got a fucking 50-year-old woman in the back of your car.
50-year-old crackhead.
Fucking talking about how she hopes at 75 that she's still smoking crack because she loves it so much. And gentlemen, I don't know if I'm the only one on this podcast that's actually smoked crack. It is fucking phenomenal. It's like that Mr. Show sketch where they're doing the lie detector for the job interview, and they're like, "Have you ever smoked crack?" And he's like, "Yeah." And the guy's like, "Oh my god, what was that like?" And he's like, "What do you mean it was like? It was crack. It was fucking great."
I would love to see John as a guest on Sesame Street, where everybody's like, "Don't do drugs." John's like, "Try it. See what happens."
Do drugs. Do drugs. Anybody listening to this podcast, go out and experiment and do drugs. Be smart about it. Be safe about it. If you have addictive personality, don't fucking do drugs.
And
everybody should experience these wonderful fucking mind-body altering fucking substances we have available to us on this earth.
And I would say
shit out there, guys.
I would say if you do that, I fully support what he says, but if you do that and you've never done the particular drug before, do it with a group of friends. Do it with somebody who's not fucked up. Be safe
about it. Be safe about it.
Which leads me to the end of that night. So, after geriatric crack Gina, it's 5 a.m., I'm going home. And I see there's a truck at McDonald's, and I'm like, oh, McDonald's is open. I'm going to go grab some breakfast. Dinner, breakfast, whatever it was. I pull through the drive-thru, because he's on the inside lane, I'm on the outside lane, right? And there's literally a guy in a running vehicle like this. No movement, no breathing, and I'm like, hey, nothing. I'm like, fuck. Call the Lee County Sheriff's Office. And they're like, can you tell if he's breathing? I'm like, not from where I'm at. Like, all right, we're gonna send an officer out. They're like, is there anyone else in the car? I'm like, don't know. I just see a guy with his head back and his tongue hanging out, and I don't know if that guy's alive or not. So, yeah, send somebody. And so I wait, and then I circle around the building to where I'm behind it, and I give them the license plate number, and they're like, be careful, it could slip into reverse. And I'm like, I doubt it. He's not moving. So I don't see how it's going to slip into reverse. So the cops come, and this fucking huge cop, just like fucking giant cop, comes in, and he looks at me, and I point to the truck, and he's like, bangs on the window, nothing. Bangs on the door, nothing. Slings the fucking door open, takes the mag light, and he's just like, up in the guy's face, nothing. EMS and the fire truck pull up, and EMS is like, move along. I'm like, alright. So I'm still waiting in line for my food because it's McDonald's and it took like half an hour. I stopped, I ate my food, I pulled around and left. He was still not moving, and they looked like they were trying to put some kind of oxygen device on him. So I don't know what the story was with that guy, but it wasn't good. And when I got to the window at the McDonald's, I'm like, you do know there's a guy that's either dead or passed out in your drive-thru, right? I'm like, you have cameras. She's like, oh, we thought he left at least half an hour ago. I'm like, no. She's like, oh, our bad. And this guy is just, like I said, I'm just picturing a guy, the way his head was, I'm picturing him throwing up and choking on his own vomit. So that's how I ended that night. It's been an interesting week.
That's actually happened to me before. It's not a story that I fucking enjoy telling, but It's a place called Valerie's in Fort Myers. It's a bar right before the beach. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been there or heard of it, but
I've dropped people off there.
Yeah, one of the bartenders there is somebody that I used to score Oxy from. Was a good friend of mine, and that was also my watering hole when I would get off work from the grill. Is I would drive down the road to Valerie's. That's where I would relax and unwind and get my drugs and drink, and that was my haunt, if you will. So I'm there one night, and there's a patron that's too fucked up to drive. I'm there, and I'm broke. I don't have a lot of fucking money. I'm trying to get some shit fronted to me. And the bartender was like, here, look, I'll give you $20, and he'll give you $20 if you fucking drive him home because he's too fucked up to drive. You do that, make a little money? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So I take the guy home, and I got $40 on me. I fucking roll through Harlem Heights, and I grab a bag of rocks and a bag of heroin. I get back to Valerie's. I put my car in the park, and I take a hit of the rock, and I open up the bag of heroin, and I didn't shoot it. I just snorted it like fucking bro. And as soon as I snorted it, I fucking OD'd and I blacked out. About an hour and a half later, the bartender came out and found me, fucking pulled me out of the car, and is fucking screaming on me. The heat in my car was turned all the way up for some reason, which I don't remember doing, and I don't know why. My drug paraphernalia is sitting on the passenger seat. I'm fucking passed out. He's pulling me out of the fucking car. And also, I had a quarter of a gallon of gasoline in my trunk because I had run out of gas the day prior, and there was still residual gasoline in my trunk. So they find me like this, and they're all convinced that I was trying to fucking kill myself. And I'm like, that's not the case. That's not the case. And they're like, come inside. Well, the fucking bartender, who was also my dealer, calls the fucking cops and EMS, because he's generally thinks that I was on the verge of death or something, and maybe I was. I have no idea. So fucking EMS shows up, and I'm like, man, I'm fucking fine. I'm fine. The cops come back in. EMS talk to me. I'm like, fine. I don't want to go to the hospital. The cop looks at me and he goes, John? And I go, yep. He goes, here are your two choices. You're either going with them or you're going with us. So make your fucking choice right now. I said, absolutely, officer. I am going with them. And he goes, yeah, good fucking call, buddy.
Yep.
Because the cops searched my car. They found my pipe, my fucking needle, my paraphernalia. They were like, you're either going to jail or you're going to go to the hospital and get fucking checked out.
Yeah.
Now, what happened at the hospital? Another hour of fucking bullshit, waste of 3 hours of my time, but that's beside the point. Because all they did was sat me down outside of the fucking room on a little fucking gurney and gave me oxygen.
Yeah.
And they were like, let us know when you feel better. And I'm like, I feel fucking fine right now. I just want to go home.
I remember going to Flea Masters one Saturday. I had this urge that I wanted to go. And to give you a frame of reference, Specs was still open over by Edison Park 8, if I remember correctly.
Favorite job I've ever had.
I remember. And I had gone to Flea Masters that morning because I got the urge. It had been a while, and I hadn't really been doing anything. I just been getting high and acting stupid, I think. And I wanted to do something for a change on my Saturday. So I went to Flea Masters, and I started walking around looking at toys and games and gag shop gifts and stuff like that. It's been forever since I've been there. And I got a Euro in the food court while I was there because I hadn't had fucking greasy fucking Flea Masters food court food in forever either.
And then you got food poisoning.
No. I ate the Euro, and I started walking around, and I had not had to go to the bathroom. I remember walking by a bathroom and looking at it and seeing what it looked like, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm not using this bathroom if I ever have to use the bathroom. And I remember getting in my car and leaving and deciding to go to Specs. I had to do something. I just got paid. I had money I wanted to play around with and maybe get a toy or something like that. And I went to Specs, and about 20 minutes into walking up and down the aisles, my BGs hit me pretty fucking hard. And I remember clenching my ass and waddling up to the front desk and looking at this kind of attractive girl who was much younger than me. And I'm like, look, I know this is probably a stupid question for me to ask, but is there a restroom here? And she's like, yeah, we don't have one for the public. I'm sorry, it's employees only. And I'm like, okay. And I stood there for about a minute just staring at her, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay, and I'm going to leave, but I'm afraid if I go right now, something's going to happen. And I stood there for a minute and let it subside, and she just kind of looked at me awkwardly, and I walked out, and I got in my car, and I decided I'm going to drive home. And I got on fucking Colonial, I want to say. Or no, not Colonial.
Okay.
Going towards Evans, or going towards Shoemaker, that side street. When you leave Specs there, I can't think of the name of the road in between the mall and Specs there, but you follow it down and it goes towards Evans, it goes towards Veronica Shoemaker, and then it comes out to 7-Eleven there on Colonial. I started going that way, and I was going to hit Shoemaker to go home, and as soon as I hit the intersection to take a left on Shoemaker, it felt like somebody punched my guts from the inside. Like it was just... And I literally had to slam on the brakes, and there's the green light. People are lining up behind me, and I slam on the brakes, and I sit there for a minute clenching my ass harder than I've ever clenched my ass before, and it subsided. I had sweat pouring down my face, no air conditioning. This is like the summertime, dude. I had the windows down, and I finally relaxed a little bit, and I stood there, and people are going around me just staring at me. And I start to go, and I get on Shoemaker, and I get it to Palm Beach, and as soon as I hit CVS on Palm Beach, it starts fucking Mike Tyson punch out from the inside again, man. And I pull into the driveway at the house, and I didn't even get to take one full step. When I swung my leg out, it just shot right out of me.
Oh.
Now, I realized that had nothing to do with what John was talking about.
I was just about to say, where the fuck did this story come from? I enjoyed it, but that was a hard left turn if I ever fucking seen one. But thanks for lightening the fucking mood, because I'm ready to fucking slip my wrist doing this podcast so far.
I don't know why you volunteered these stories. You guys start talking about all this depressing shit. I didn't say a fucking word.
Here's the greatest part about being fluent and Doug. The whole time the story's going on, we got about a quarter into it, and I said to myself, this has nothing to do with what we've been talking about, and it's not going to go anywhere near what we've been talking about.
Oh, I knew he was going to shit his pants. I knew it was coming.
I said to myself, if Bob or John does not stop him at some point in this story, it's going to end with barbecue playing Skip-Mo at Grandma's
Jesus Christ. Alright. So that was some fun fucking story time.
We still have
Well, my question though, you said it shot out, so this is a very serious question.
Oh God.
we have more topics we need to get.
Did it come down your pant leg? Like out by your shoe or
Oh, no, I was able to taper it off and keep it contained within the back region area.
Alright, okay, let that happen.
But I did throw away what I was wearing. There was no scooping it out of that. I went from, shit to shower immediately, man.
That's the fucking worst.
So we talked about Mississippi Grind, and somehow that led you two fuckers down a depressing avenue. And Matt, Matt,
it's a depressing movie.
But we do have our top 5 drama on network cable list we have to get through. And Matt Ammons would like to join us if we would have him. He just texted me.
I have one more piece of business to discuss before we go on with our top 5, because this was earth-shattering breaking news. Did you guys watch the fucking Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan podcast or listen to it?
I haven't finished it. I'm in the middle of it.
Phenomenal.
Okay. Well, why the fuck are we not talking about the greatest story I've ever heard, that Eldris Ibra used to sell David Chappelle weed?
Yeah, that was pretty.
That is the most amazing thing I've ever fucked. That is the best thing I heard all week. When I heard that, I just went, that is fucking amazing.
Did you see his face when he was telling it too? He's like, "Oh yeah, Idris Elba. He used to be a bouncer at the comedy club, and he used to sell me weed." Ah, well, I don't know. Ah, well, fuck it, I already said it.
Stringer Bell sold Dave Chappelle fucking weed back in the day. That's amazing. We gotta get going here, guys. I gotta get going. If Matt wants to come on, we can do our top 5 list and talk about it. Look at this beautiful son of a bitch right here.
So, Matt, you have joined us for a segment that is going to be, you will name your top 5 dramas from network or cable television, not counting premium channels.
Turn your phone sideways.
Yeah, you want to know your favorite shows? Like, if you ran your own independent theater, whose name would be on the marquee?
Turn your phone sideways.
This better?
Yep.
Is this better?
Yep.
Much better.
Oh shit.
Much better. All right, so we're gonna take Matt last because he had no time.
I think Matt
cool.
should have to go first because he had no
I'd
time
rather
to prep.
take third for Earnhardt. Third for
Oh,
Earnhardt.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey man,
Left
the race is
turn,
in
turn, left turn.
my state today. I have to do that.
Dale took a right.
Hey, I gotta go fuck my sister really quick. I'll be right back.
I'm with you, Matt. Fuck Wisconsin.
Goddamn Yankees ruined everything.
I'm not going first.
Who's going
The
first?
South will rise again. Bob, you're going first.
I'm going first. And so I'm going to do these in no particular order.
Okay.
So, Sons of Anarchy, Justified, The Wonder Years,
Ooh.
Okay. Good one. Deep cut.
Ah, this is a deep cut.
I have mine. Everyone knows my number 1, but
Dawson's Creek.
fuck yes, the Creek.
So you got one more.
I'm gonna go How I Met Your Mother.
I wouldn't call that a
You say
drama.
that- I see,
There's plenty of drama there.
yeah, that's gonna be on my that's a sitcom though. That's gonna be a whole different other list. So choose something else.
Emotional comedy.
I don't know. Because everything popping into my head is literally like premium channels.
Wow.
If one of you comes up with something good, I'll add it on.
Okay. I guess I'll go next because that's the way the screen's colored. Justified. Sons of Anarchy. Breaking Bad.
There you go. God damn it, my brain.
There you go. 24 and Friday Night Lights.
Ooh.
Great fucking show.
Yeah,
Great.
Friday Night Lights is one of my top fucking shows of all time. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it.
literally tried to make Doug. I was gonna use that as one of our movies to watch. Was
Fuck
the entire
Oh, it's so good.
On
It's
Friday Night
so
Fuck
good.
off.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's
No.
Peacock. It's on
Because I've never
Peacock.
seen
Yeah.
that episode and I've wanted to.
It's so fucking good.
It's amazing, amazing characters, storylines. Just it's so
So
good.
much better than the film.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll go next. First question is, would you guys consider Supernatural a drama?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
I
put
would.
Supernatural on the list.
What else? What, a comedy?
Fantasy.
Supernatural.
I don't know if
I
we
mean,
ever.
don't you look-
Oh! It's a romantic comedy.
Yeah,
Oh, like
between
that-
two gay brothers.
It's a bromance.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
just-
and if you guys told me it didn't count that, I would pick something else.
It's
But I'm
Wincest.
asking that. So, all right. I love that you know that. Supernatural.
I'm not a simp, bro.
Sons of Anarchy, Rescue Me, Justified, and last but not least, and I truly, I mean this in my heart of hearts, this show, I don't think people give it enough credit for how much it's influenced television and beyond, especially going into like Showtimes and HBOs and stuff like that. But NYPD Blue, NYPD Blue really was a groundbreaking show.
Yeah, because you got to see Dennis Franz's ass.
Well, they took more risks than anybody. They were the first television show that swore. South Park did a whole parody of it. They were the first one to show partial nudity on network television.
Fuck, South Park's a comedy, not a drama. I was just about to add South Park. I gotta tell you, I started watching, for whatever reason, South Park season 20 from the beginning, where they introduced PC Principal, and I forgot that this is the season 20 is the year that Trump got elected. So the entire season is Garrison running in the election as Trump. And I forgot that whole thing was set off by trolls in the internet. It's just funny because it's like 4 years ago that this came out, and the shit they're saying on that season is mirroring what's going on today. It's so fucking bizarre to me. But, sorry.
All right, don't go.
All right, so my number, I'm going to go in order from least to worst. And all of these are not worst. They're all great. But number 5, Turn, Washington Spy on AMC.
Oh, great shows. Damn, that's... Shit, man, I might take 20. No, I can't take 24 off my list. But that's definitely my top 10. That was an amazing fucking series.
There's a lot of shows that this was a tough one.
Yeah, this was a hard list to make. But I love how Sons of Anarchy and Justified is on like everybody's list so far.
Well, so far. So that was 5. Turn, Washington Spies. Number 4, I'm going to go with The Americans on FX. There's a lot of FX shows, to be quite honest with you. Number 3 is an FX show, Taboo, with Tom Hardy and a plethora of other fantastic English actors. Number 2 is a show I loved on Sci-Fi that ran 3 seasons called Defiance. And number 1 with a bullet, Breaking Bad.
Respect.
Matt,
Is this me?
this is you.
Yeah,
Is this where y'all start talking shit?
No, Matt, this is us.
I
I
feel
have
like
a
that's going to be the
question.
most.
This is us. It's a great fucking show.
I knew one of you would say something.
All right,
That is a great fucking show.
what?
This is us.
Okay, here we go. This is no order, but the first one is my order. Breaking Bad is number 1. And this is where y'all start to talk shit. Do you
least you know.
Smallville a drama?
Smallville, yes, I would call Smallville a drama.
Okay, Smallville's on my list.
More of a soap opera, but still. I liked Smallville as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I like Smallville.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one that I'm sure y'all gonna be like, this shit sucks, blah, blah, blah.
Can't
Lost
wait.
would be in mine.
Yeah, after season 3, that show sucked.
What was it?
Well, when the whole writer strike happened, I mean, they...
What? Wait, what was it?
Lost.
Never watched it.
Well, man, I'm with you, man. Lost. I was debating putting it on my top 5. I love that series. What a fucking wild ride that show was. Great character development. Really got attached to the characters. The story was all over the place and completely batshit crazy. But that show was such a fucking fun ride. And to nobody who has seen it, it's definitely worth watching once. It doesn't have a lot of gameplay value.
Like, so good.
Not Penny's Boat.
The first 3
That's all
seasons.
the fucking say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that knows what I'm talking
Charlie
about.
was the best part of that entire fucking show. Other than that fucking show
I
was
take
double
John,
thumbs down.
Saeed was my favorite character on that show.
So,
Is that why?
Saeed.
Is that why you look like you?
it was Saeed.
Saeed was a great character, man.
Come on, Earnhardt, rethink that shit.
Hey, as
I'm
long
not
as you
trying,
promote
y'all
it and
messed
get
up
us the
everything.
bumps.
It's like there's a caution. We're going slow now.
Well, you did just get done playing pickleball.
Pickleball's fun.
Uh huh.
I'm going to take one from Bob and put the Wonder Years in there.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
And so sitcoms don't count?
No, drama
Nope.
only.
Drama, network or cable.
The sound of wind blowing is so perfect.
I kind of want to put Fringe in there, but
I wanted to. I have a lot on my.
oh man,
Halt,
Fringe
Catch
is
Fire, Tyrant,
Home
MASH,
catch. Joe.
Fuck it, we're going to just go ahead and say it. Nip tuck.
The
I don't think it's
Boys.
popping in my head.
There you go.
okay. All right, now last order of business. Last 5 artists on your Spotify that you've listened to.
That's not the last order. Okay.
Fuck you, it is the last order of this.
Just remember what our assignment is for next week's episode.
Yes, we're watching Tiptoes.
Can I like? Hold on.
All right, you guys let me.
He's looking at his last 5.
I gotta look at the last 5.
Alright, I'll start off. Road to the Skeleton Coast with Brendan Kelly podcast.
We're not counting podcasts.
Oh, just doing
That's all he listens
albums.
to. That's all.
Just-
Okay.
Just
Okay, I got you. Resurrection, movie from and inspired by the Tupac Resurrection film. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2.
Good album.
Dire Straits, Greatest Hits. Sage Francis, and the Lawrence Arm.
Okay. My last 5 were Coheed and Cambria, Busy Bone, Mercules, Pelican, and Necro.
Oh, I love Mercules, bro. I genuinely dig
What happened to Matt? What happened to Matt? Did Matt get killed? What happened to Matt?
He's looking.
Oh,
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Go, Matt, go.
All right. My last 5. Coheed. Thrice. Alexis on Fire. Of Mice and Men. And Pierce the Veil. That was my last 5.
you know what, Matt? You're all right. I like you. We can be friends. What Thrice album were you listening to, or were you just doing random?
It was just on a random mix. I can look at the song, but it was
What's your favorite Thrice album?
Artists and Amulets.
Good choice. Good choice. I'm gonna go Illusion of Safety, but Artists and Ambulance is up there. Hold on.
Paul?
I didn't listen to any music on Spotify this week.
I was too busy making pipe bombs around my anti-passed out. Skinny in my backyard.
All joking aside, John, I did wake up this morning, loaded the dogs up, I went out into the woods, and I target practiced for like an hour and a half. Shut off my AR, and I was sighting in the Thompson and just fucking around with the 6-shooter.
Is your AR 5.56 or 223 or caliber for both?
It's 5.56. It's 5.56. So it can do both. 223, 5.56, but 5.56 can take 223.
And Doug.
MC Chris is dead. Veruca Salt, Resolver, Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape, Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, and The Doors' LA Woman.
Man, fucking Lupe Fiasco. I always forget about that dude. That fucking dude's great. I love Lupe Fiasco.
I do too, a lot.
That was good rest. Listen, guys, sorry to cut it short, but I got a little bit of light left. I gotta fucking go finish this shit up. Next week, we are watching the
Tiptoes.
movie. I'm sorry, dwarf movie, because you can't say anymore. Dwarf is the correct vernacular, which makes no fucking sense to me, because a dwarf is like a fictional fucking character in like fantasy realm, but that's the PC term, is dwarf. Bad, dwarf, good.
I thought it was Little People. I thought Little People was the right
No,
thing.
dwarf is the correct fucking vernacular. That or fucking little people. I did my
No, a dwarf are 2 different things.
So we're gonna watch a movie about these creatures, and
John, so just to clear it up, for political correctness, we don't want to say we shouldn't say at all.
so we're gonna watch that movie. And have a guest on next week.
My buddy Gabe.
And who is Gabe?
Gabe is Doug's dealer.
Gabe's a really good friend of mine. He's one of my. He's like the Matt I get to see in person that lives next door. That's what he's like.
I have 2 things to say, and I gotta bounce.
Wait,
Go for it.
All right, the first one. Whenever I'm back home, I want y'all all to think about it. But a top 5 live albums.
Ooh, I like it.
I think I can do that right now.
Doug, I'm proud of you for the work. Keep putting it in, bud.
Thanks,
Keep putting
man.
it in.
Thanks,
That's all I
man.
want to say.
Thanks, man.
I love y'all, all 3 of y'all.
Thanks, man. We love
The
you.
lighting of your room.
Hey,
You look so sexy. I love y'all. Be good.
keep
Thanks,
watching.
man.
You're being so positive and inspiring. I want to do the same thing to you as you log off real quick. So keep watching Celtic Pride. I'm sure at some point it actually will suck to you, and you'll see why we made fun of you.
Later, guys.
Later.
I'm out. Doug, I don't care. I don't want to know who it is. Just curious. Are you dating somebody?
No.
Okay.
Matt was talking about working out.
No. I'm curious if Doug's dating somebody because there's been some weird stuff, and it seems like Doug's seeing somebody and he's trying to play coy about it. I don't care who it is. I just wanted to know if he was.
If I want to talk about certain parts of my personal life, I'll be happy to talk about them, but there's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
Now I'm curious.
His name's Brad, I guarantee it. Alright guys, love you. Great episode. I will see you guys next week.
Go clean up your yard, you fucking, you living off the high horse tit and fucking contribute to society, motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck code enforcement. Fuck the city of Fort Myers. That being said, I'm out.
Later.